This. It's about two dogs, border collies, who were found during a recent storm. It's thought they must have been abandoned. They've been called Bonnie and Clyde.
They're now at the Meadow Green Rescue Centre in Norfolk looking for a new home. They need to stay together because Clyde is blind and relies on Bonnie to help look after him.
This is the story of two friends, Bonnie and Clyde. They go everywhere together. Bonnie looks out for Clyde, literally. That's because Clyde has a degenerative disease which has left him blind and more than a little shy.
The way they are together, you don't actually notice that Clyde is blind because Bonnie leads him. It's more when you take Bonnie away from Clyde. He can't function without her. He'll lay on the floor, he refuses to move, he's just very afraid of everything. But if Bonnie's there, he's reassured.
Oh, hello, there's that Mrs. Ilcock. Hello there, it's Meadow Green Dog Rescue, just returning your call from yesterday evening.
Meadow Green have already been swamped by people offering Bonnie and Clyde a new home.
That sounded ideal.
Well, it does sound ideal. She's had an awful lot of rescue dogs before.
The ideal home would be preferably someone that's had collies before, so they've got knowledge of the breed. Someone with plenty of space, and they do need to be in a quieter, more rural area, because although Clyde is amazing with voice commands, if there's too much background noise, he can't pick up on the commands.
Clyde does rely on Bonnie, but he's always ready to fuss his friend in return. I don't think it's going to be long before Bonnie and Clyde find a new home. Mike Liggins, BBC Look East, Norfolk.
Aren't they just fabulous?
Such a sweet pair, aren't they? Now, a reminder of tonight's main news. The Conservatives have won the Norwich North by-election. At 27, Chloe Smith becomes the country's youngest MP. The poll was triggered by the resignation of Labour's Ian Gibson 6 weeks ago.
Let's talk to Andrew Sinclair, our political correspondent. What will you remember this election for, or what will it be remembered for, do you think?
Well, I think you could really say that the Labour candidate catching swine flu was probably the perfect metaphor for this election. It took everyone by surprise, no one wanted it, and it left most of those involved with it feeling rather wiped out. Labour have lost one of their safest seats in the southeast of England tonight. They got just 18% of the vote. That's one of their worst results in government ever. They wanted to talk about antisocial behaviour, they wanted to talk about the economy, but on the doorsteps just one name kept coming up, Ian Gibson. Why did you get rid of our MP, they were asked, and the party has never been able to properly answer that question. I think Labour's predicament is best summed up by Charles Clarke, the Norwich North MP, who says tonight, this by-election should never have happened. It is a coruscating verdict on the way in which we've dealt with the issue of expenses. Labour has to learn the lesson and change its way of operating.
What about Chloe Smith? What do we make of her, and what's her future, do you think?
Well, she's highly regarded within the party. She is seen as the embodiment of a new-look Cameron Conservative. She's young, she's sassy, she's not from a privileged background, and her parents don't have a moat. She says she will be different. She says she will be different, and indeed she said in her acceptance speech today, if I don't stick to my promises by the next election, I want the people of Norwich North to vote me out.
Andrew, thank you very much. I hope we're not becoming motist, are we? Have a great weekend.
I don't have one either.
We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.